Hey guys, Saucy Search. Today we're covering everything you need to know about the Cold Snap update in Arc Raiders. This is going to be a longer form style video. We're going to be covering the exclusive cosmetics, the Flickering Flames event, Cold Snap mechanics, and all the patch notes you need to be aware of. If you enjoy in depth Arc Raiders content like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss future updates. With that being said, let's jump straight into the Cold Snap update. First things first, Raiders, I just want to thank you all for clicking on the video and continued likes, comments, and subscribes, and overall support across all my Arc Raiders content. It genuinely does mean a lot. I truly enjoy making these videos, and Arc Raiders is an absolutely phenomenal game. I love it. With that being said, without further ado, the first thing we're going to be jumping into in today's video is everything you need to know about the latest patch, including the buffs, nerfs, and all the new additions in Arc Raiders. Starting with the patch highlights, they finally added skill tree reset functionality. This means if you made a mistake and you want to rework your build or switch between PvP and PvE setups, you now have the freedom to reset your skill tree and experiment without being locked in. They've also added the option to toggle aim down sights. This is a really interesting addition for a third person game, and overall, it adds more immersion and depth to Arc Raiders' experience. On top of that, they added a wallet display that shows you now your credit soft cap, along with various festive items to get everyone into the holiday spirit. The Aphelion blueprint, which previously dropped from the Matriarch, now has been moved to Stellamontis. They've also introduced a new Raider tool customization, allowing you to change and personalize your Raider tool directly from the customization menu. Finally, they fixed multiple collision issues across all maps and improved Stellamonta spawn distances. If you played that map before, you know teams were sometimes spawning 20 to maybe 30 feet across from each other, which could lead to some pretty brutal early fights. This change alone is a massive quality of life improvement. So, guys, with the highlights out of the way, let's get into the nitty gritty and break down all of the balance changes in this update. The first weapon we're going to be talking about is the Batina. Previously, the Batina almost forced you to bring in a secondary weapon because of the durability. It would burn out mid raid way too fast. The durability was honestly pretty rough. With this update, they increased the magazine size from 20 to 22 rounds, reduced the reload time from 5 seconds to 4.5 seconds, and most importantly, buffed the durability, so it doesn't break nearly as fast. Hopefully now you won't feel forced to bring a second weapon every single raid just to compensate for having the patina. Moving on to probably one of the most hated weapons in the game, in my personal opinion, and honestly throughout the community, the Rattler. The devs stated that the Rattler is not intended to compete with weapons like the Stitcher or the Kettle in close range fights, but they did make some meaningful changes. They lowered the time to kill slightly and increased the base magazine size from 10 to 12. And honestly, it's a pretty solid change because if you ever use the Rattler, you know if you're not landing headshots, that weapon feels honestly absolutely awful. Moving on, let's talk about the Shredder. First off, they reduced the amount of knockback applied when shooting it. Previously, you could hit a Shredder and it would go flying, bouncing around in an unpredictable way and moving in some pretty wild patterns. In exchange, they've increased the Shredder's movement speed and turning responsiveness, which is honestly kind of insane considering how fast these things already are. They've also increased the health of the Shredder's head, making it harder just to shoot the head off instantly. On top of that, the Shredder navigation has been improved, so they're less likely to get stuck on corners, tight spaces, or environmental obstacles. Combat behavior has also been adjusted. They increased how quickly the Shredder enters combat, especially when taking damage or when players are in close proximity. Additionally, they increased the number of Shredder parts that can individually be destroyed, giving fights a bit more depth and strategy. Overall, this feels like a better move to the Shredders on Stellamontis, a lot more threatening, more aggressive, more consistent, and honestly more terrifying. I don't really mind the changes. Make sure that you keep your distance, especially in areas like Medbay, where things can get absolutely chaotic very fast. Moving further down the list, let's talk about the content and bug fixes. Starting with achievements. Achievements are now fully enabled on the Epic Game Store, which is a nice quality of life addition of players tracking progression. Animation fixes saw a lot of attention on this update. They fixed an issue where picking up field crates with grenades attached to them could cause your character to slide or move without any player input. This was another exploit people were abusing, so it's good to see that it's finally been addressed. They also fixed an exploit where combining the snap hook with the zip lines or ladders could launch players across massive distances, basically letting people fly across the map. So that's another big one gone. Additional animations fixes include correcting running animations while being over encumbered, ensuring interactions end properly after dodge rolls, and preventing arm twisting issues when holding items or deployables. They also added more natural animation blends for equipped items overall. Moving on to the arc related fixes, they resolved a issue where deployable attachments stuck to enemies could cause them to launch or clip out of bounds when shot. Missiles have now been fixed. They no longer reverse course after missing a target and hitting you in the back. They now track targets properly. So, guys, for the Sentinel, they fixed a bug where the laser wouldn't properly reach the target at certain distances. So that means if you guys are far away, it's still going to see you and it's going to be able to shoot you. With the Surveyor, vaulting onto arc surveyors have been disabled to prevent unintended launches while they're moving, which honestly, I don't know it was a thing until now. They also fixed an issue where Bombardier's projectiles could shoot through the Matriarch shield from the outside. Finally, on the audio side, they fixed a bunch of sound and visual issues with the gas, stun, impulse mines not properly triggering audio or light effects when shot. There are also various smaller audio tweaks across menus, environmental elements, mostly just polishing up and cleaning it all across the board. Moving on to the map section of the update, and honestly, these are some of the biggest and most important changes, in my opinion, in the entire patch. A lot of long standing issues where they finally addressed, and these fixes are genuinely great for the game overall. First, they fixed an issue where reconnecting players after you disconnect could spawn you right next to another team that already joined the match. If you ever DC'd and reconnect only to spawn beside enemies, that problem now should be completely resolved. They also fixed the various collision issues across the map, players getting stuck on props, terrain, and environmental objects, just overall polishing up and cleaning the game once again. Now, here's a huge one. They fixed the slope of the Raider hatch, which previously was too steep for down Raiders to crawl onto. If you weren't aware, players who had a Raider hatch key and were trying to crawl to the hatch to escape, they would get stuck at the ledge because of geometry. Now that's been fixed. If you get down, you have a key, you can properly crawl into the Raider hatch and extract, which honestly is a massive quality of life improvement. Another big change, security lockers are now dynamically spawned across all maps instead of being stagnant. This means they won't be in the same locations anymore. They'll randomly be generated. So this is great because even if you spawn far away, you still have a chance to find one instead of someone sprinting to the known location immediately. They also fixed raider caches not spawning in during the projected probe events, resolved issues where lootable containers and supply drops could spawn inside terrain, and fixed a bug where doors appeared closed while others seen them open. For environmental events, the electromagnetic storms now sometimes leave behind a valuable item after leaving a lightning strike, which, if you didn't know, that's actually pretty cool. They've also increased the number of possible Great Mulan spawns across all maps, meaning you're going to be running into a lot more Great Mulan a lot more often. On Dam Battlegrounds, the Matriarch spawn point has been moved to another area that better suits its strength. Previously, it spawned right in the center of the map, so this is no longer the case. So it's going to be a lot harder to fight. And finally, on Spaceport, they adjusted the locked room projection area and container storage, so it's no longer affects players outside of the room. Moving on to Blue Gate. The locked gate map condition has finally been added back. As you guys know, it was removed earlier due to issues, but now has been re-released, meaning we can once again play Blue Gate with the locked gate condition active. Along with that, they've improved tree LODs on Blue Gate to reduce overly dark visuals at a distance, fixed an issue where loot could spawn outside of lock rooms in the village, and added a new props and visual cues to the final camp quest, Foothold, to make key objectives easier to find. Moving on to Stellamontis, they've increased blueprint spawn rates for certain items. As many of you know, finding blueprints on Stellamontis was extremely rare and frustrating before, so this should make blueprint farming a lot more reasonable. How much of an increase, I'm not sure yet, but I'll definitely be testing it and making a follow up video once I get solid data. They've also adjusted some breachable containers on Stellamontis so you no longer drop rubber ducks when using the advanced breach methods, and they also improved window glass clarity to increase visibility throughout the map. With that said, you can read through the rest of the patch notes for yourself. I'm focusing on what I believe are the most important changes, but I'll leave the link to the full patch notes down in the description below if you want to go through them in every detail. And just to circle back, everything we talked about earlier, the skill tree reset functionality. If you pick the wrong skills or you just want to completely change up your build in Arc Raiders, you now can do that. Just keep in mind that resetting costs 2,000 coins per skill point, so plan your reset accordingly. So next up, they added the Raider tool customization. You can access this by going into your Raider customization, where you'll now see a dedicated Raider tool customization option. Apparently, we're even getting a hockey stick as a tool cosmetic, and there's also a tool tied to the Flickering Flames event, so definitely keep an eye out for that. Moving on to the ranks and leaderboards. For players ranked Daredevil 1, the leaderboards now have a feature of a 3 times promotion zone for the top 5 players. If you're in that top 5 bracket, you'll earn 3 rank promotions instead of 2. Previously, the top 10 players received a 2 times promotion, so this is a big incentive to push for those top spots. Now, let's talk skills. The effortless roll skill now provides a greater stamina cost reduction, which is a huge buff, especially for PvP focused players who rely heavily on movement and rolls. This change actually makes the skill feel impactful. The calming stroll skill has also been updated and now applies while moving in ADS, making it far more useful during gunfights and tactical movements. For those you running in high-end PCs and who appreciate the visual fidelity, they've also added a cinematic graphics settings to further enhance the game's visuals. On the customization side, you can now rotate your character in customization screen, giving you a full 360-degree view of your raider, which honestly is a great quality of life update. They've also added notifications for newly unlocked items, so you'll clearly see what you've earned instead of guessing. Feedback surveys will now appear far less frequently and you'll have more control over them. The expedition request remains in place and they've added new reward display to the Raider project, showing exactly what rewards you'll earn at each goal and at the end of the expedition. So, with all that being said, I don't know if I covered every single bullet point in the patch notes, but I'm focused on what I believe are the most important changes and the ones I felt like you guys would care about the most. I'll leave a link to the full patch notes down in the description if you want to read through everything in detail. And if there's anything you notice in this update that you think is big or something I didn't mention, drop it in the comments below. I'll be reading them and we can go back and forth on it. With the patch notes covered, let's move on to the new exclusive skins that just dropped with this update. If you head over to the store, you'll see a feature set called the Bone Crown set. And honestly, guys, this set looks pretty insane. It's a pretty solid cosmetic overall. This is what the full set looks like. It comes with multiple color variations. You've got the red variant, the orange and white, the white and black, which personally my favorite and probably going to be for a lot of people, and the white and green variant as well. Customization wise, you can toggle quite a bit. You can remove or equip the headgear, the headset, horns, the shoulder pad, and even the sword on the side. The set also includes the reliquary backpack, which looks like this, the drum backpack attachment, and a deer skull backpack charm, which honestly looks pretty sick. You also get the braided bun hairstyle. It comes in black, blonde, brown, gray, and red, along with a painted mask that looks really cool Viking style. On top of all that, the bundle comes with 2,400 Raider tokens. Overall, this is a really strong cosmetic set. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people end up picking it up. Now, moving on to another exclusive skin, you may have noticed a message in your inbox from Embarks titled, "Can you reach the finals?" This is an exclusive crossover tied to the finals Embark's other game. To unlock it, you'll need to download or play the finals. Make sure you're logged into the same Embark ID in both Arc Raiders and the finals, and then simply play 3 matches in any game mode. Once that's done, you can uninstall the game if you want or keep it, it's completely up to you. After that, log back into Arc Raiders and you'll receive a message called Reward for the Rising Star. This unlocks an exclusive Raider outfit in a red variant color, and honestly, the red looks very clean, it's rich, and it pops. And for a free reward, it actually looks really good. I'll probably be running this one myself a lot. Along with the outfit, you also get the Salvager backpack, which looks like this, and a backpack charm called the Soccer Finals Ticket, which is exactly what it looks like, a small ticket style charm. So with that being said, that's how you unlock the exclusive Red Raider outfit in Arc Raiders. Alright guys, with the patch notes and skins covered, let's talk about the big one, the Flickering Flames event. If you head to the front menu, click on Flickering Flames, you can now see all the event's rewards laid out. Starting you off, you got the High Tech Hiker Backpack, which comes in multiple variants. You'll unlock the Check Compass emote, a blue camo variant, and various attachment pieces, including the sprayed red eyes, an orange color variant. There's also a mask included, which honestly doesn't look bad at all. Along with the yellow camo version, a whiteout version, and finally the full variant with the headgear, goggles, and attachments. Overall, the high-tech hiker pack looks pretty solid, and for an event reward, it's surprisingly clean. At the end of the Flickering Flames track, you also unlock the Space Wrench, which is a brand new Raider tool cosmetic. Like I mentioned earlier, you can find it under the Raider customization, where you'll start off with a basic tool, and then unlock the Space Wrench once you complete the event. With this update, there's also a goalie outfit coming, and apparently the Raider tool is going to be a hockey stick, which honestly I can't wait to see in game. As part of the Flickering Flames event, there's also a candlelight donation event. You'll need to donate empty wine bottles, plastic parts, durable cloth, candleberries, and much more. With each donation phase unlocking merits, we all know how the merit system works, so make sure you get on that as soon as possible. On top of that, there are 3 separate quest lines tied to the event: Clean Dream, a Toxic Trail, and Paving the Way. I'll be putting out separate videos showing you exactly how to complete each one of these, so be sure to keep an eye out on the channel for those guides. Alright guys, next up we're going to be doing some testing in the Cold Snap update. I'm going to show you exactly how long it takes for frostbite to affect your character, and how long it takes to reach the down state if you stay out in the cold for too long. I'm going to show you where to get snowballs. Yes, there are actually snowballs in Arc Raiders now, and you can have snowball fights in-game. If you make your way to these snow piles with sticks sticking out of them, you can collect as many snowballs as you want, throw them at your friends or even enemy raiders, which honestly is pretty cool. And while you're out here, make sure to keep an eye out for the candleberry bushes. These are bright red bushes out in the open, very easy to spot. Be sure to collect as many candleberries as possible since they're important for the Flickering Flames event. With that being said, guys, that covers everything you need to know about the Cold Snap update here in Arc Raiders. If there's anything I missed, drop it down in the comments below and let me know. If you enjoy videos like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you always stay up to date with Arc Raiders news and content. Be on the lookout for upcoming YouTube shorts I'll be posting and break down more of this update. And as always, happy holidays to each and every one of you. Take care and God bless.